Auf der diesjährigen Games Convention gab es so viele Adventure-Präsentationen wie noch nie zuvor. Klar, dass man sich bei Adventure-Treff.de dabei auf eine ausführliche Berichterstattung verlassen kann. In unserem GC-Video-Feature präsentieren wir euch deswegen in unregelmäßigen Abständen Interviews und Eindrücke von der bedeutendsten Spielemesse. Viel Spaß bei unserer zweiten Folge!
Von Adventure-Fans heiß erwartet wurde die groß angekündigte GC-Pressekonferenz des Hamburger Publishers DTP. Natürlich waren auch wir mit unserer Kamera live dabei, um die anwesenden Game Designer zu interviewen. Sierra-Ikone Jane Jensen konnte sich leider nur über eine Videobotschaft an das Publikum wenden. Die Entwickler der Indiana Jones Adventures, Hal Barwood und Noah Falstein, sowie Baphomets Fluch-Schöpfer Ince waren aber persönlich vor Ort. Wir haben die drei Legenden deswegen hinter den Kulissen abgefangen und zu ihren kommenden Spielen So Blonde und Matahari befragt.
So Blonde is an adventure game about Sunny Blonde, who's a 17-year-old American girl who finds herself stranded on a very strange tropical island, which seems to be an ideal sort of paradise at first, and she considers it to be some sort of holiday resort. Unfortunately, as she investigates, she finds it seems to be filled with pirates and other strange people like that. Of course, how can pirates exist? And of course, none of them have even heard of a mobile phone, cell phone, and there's not a five-star hotel on the island. So, you know, she's very confused by this. And so, as the game progresses, Sunny as a character really kind of grows and develops and becomes kind of very integral to solving the problems that the island finds itself in.
Okay, so what kind was your involvement in the game? What part did you play in the making of the game?
I became involved very early in the process. Wizardbox, the development team, came up with the original premise and some initial character sketches and a couple of sketches for the first few locations. So they brought me on board to develop the story and work out, sort of how Sunny would move from this kind of like very very shallow person into something more. How we kind of like develop that. How we create a sympathetic character from someone who seems very shallow in a way that sort of would just seem very natural and organic, so that the story unfolds in a very natural way with drama and intrigue and all the rest of it. So kind of I've been involved for nearly a year now, sort of on and off, and I'm really excited with the way it's looking, with the way that the ideas have kind of been realised, and the whole team has done a fabulous job, and I've had lots of fun, and those guys have done all the hard work of putting the game together. So it's a perfect working relationship for me. I sit around a lot thinking. No. When I first got involved, I went over to Paris to meet with the Wizardbox team, and they were just so good. We hit it off straight away. We sat down, we thrashed out the main kind of like thrust of the story. I scribbled down lots of notes, and then it was kind of we developed a first pass story document where it's maybe like 5 or 10 pages, and it's just kind of like this is where we see the story going. So there's all sorts going on there. It's got like taking on board the feedback from the team. You know, sort of they came up with some great ideas, which, you know, we had to kind of like work out how to integrate into the overall design and the overall story. And it was just kind of like that feeling that we were just working towards creating as good a game as we could. And it wasn't about, you know, sort of like, you know, sort of, there was no competitiveness, there was nothing like that. We were just kind of working towards this shared vision, really, and that was a real pleasure about it.
So, what are your favorite adventures from other companies, and how did they influence your working style?
I've tended to favour, you know, sort of some of my favourites have been, you know, the more humorous ones. So, you know, sort of like Grim Fandango or Day of the Tentacle. I love those games. I just love the way that the characters interact with each other, and some of the jokes are brilliant. And in Grim Fandango in particular, I mean, I just love those voices. You know, sort of particularly like right near the beginning of the game when you've got Manny chatting with the receptionist whose name I forget momentarily. But the dialogue there is just wonderful, and that kind of like sets the whole tone for the rest of the game. But then, you know, sort of like I like some of the more serious ones, like Moments of Silence. I think that was a very good game, and I'm looking very much, you know, really looking forward to Overclocked, and I'm looking forward to all the games that seem to be coming out at the moment. You know, sort of the Memento Mori, Matahari, Grey Matter. I mean, just there seems to be a lot of really good games coming out within the next year or so, and I think that you know, I think that adventure fans are probably getting the best deal over the next year than they've had for a long time. So it's quite an exciting time. But going back to your point about influence, I think the influence is you always have get influence from everything that you play, everything that you read, movies that you watch. So it all kind of comes into the mix in somewhere, and it's kind of how you manage that influence and how you kind of use your own interpretation of that influence to create something that you hope is unique, really. So it is a mixture of all sorts of things. I like the principles that you know, sort of made some of those older games classics. You know, like the LucasArts games and some of the Sierra games. You know, because they had a kind of sense of fun about them, and that's what we're trying to do with So Blonde, is make sure that it's really a sort of a fun game first.
So what are you going to do after So Blonde? Do you have another project already
I'm
waiting?
I'm currently doing some work on another project, but I can't say anything at the moment because it's not been announced. And then, I mean, at some point, I want to do some of my own stuff. Obviously, I mean, you know yourselves that I have my own ideas, you know, sort of, and so I'm looking around to try and find ways of bringing those ideas. I mean, there's one in particular which is a kind of science fiction adventure, but it will be purely point and click adventure. But it's and I have a kind of very rough demo and some screenshots, but it's kind of maybe in a month or two I may kind of like look to release something just to get feedback, nothing more than that. Yeah. And maybe kind of, you know, but that's something for as I say, maybe a month or two yet.
Do you think science fiction is harder to sell than other kinds of themes in adventures? Because we talked to Bill Tiller earlier, and he said he also has a concept for a science fiction adventure, and nobody wants to buy it.
Yes, I mean it does seem to be a problem. You know, so I have approached publishers, and you know, sort of they're a bit unsure. So, and this is why I want to kind of get some public feedback on it, because, you know, sort of. But the main thing, I think, or what I think is a real strength of a science fiction adventure, is that you can put things in that you invent. So